All right, lovies, welcome back to another wonderful day of world history. I was real close to saying world regional geography. Welcome back to world history. This micro lecture, we are going to focus on early Chinese writing and cultural development. So early China lacked organized religion. We talked about ancestral veneration or ancestral worship, but that wasn't a organized religion like Buddhism or Hinduism or even Confucianism, technically, I guess. Okay, so early China lacks organized religion, so there was no one god that they worship. Instead, again, they focused on ancestral veneration or ancestral worship. We do have writing in early China. We said that the Xia, Xia, left behind no written records, but by the time we got to the Shang, we have written records. So most of the information that we have about the Shang dynasty comes from inscriptions written on oracle bones. The writings of scribes, like people who write stuff out, was important because they maintain governmental records. They recorded and delivered the decisions of the king. On these oracle bones, the inscriptions are done in pictograph. That's the Chinese form of writing. So oracle bone is not a form of writing. Pictograph is the form of writing. The pictographs are written on the oracle bones. The oracle bones technically are like regular bones, right? Like, do you know what an oracle is? An oracle? Mm-hmm. An oracle is someone who can foresee the future. In the Matrix, the original, you probably may not have been born then, but in the original, there was a lady named the Oracle. And Neo had to go see the Oracle because she knew the future. That's what an oracle does. Like, you go to the Oracle and they tell your future, and in the Shang dynasty, once they told the future, well, this is what they would do. They take like a bone and they put the bone in the oven, like the backside of a sheep bone or a large animal bone. They put the bone in the oven and they allowed the bones to heat up, to cook until they crack. And then they take the bones out, and the cracks, it's kind of like tea leaves because the cracks indicate the fortune. So as they are reading the cracks, they're also transcribing what the future prediction is. So when the scribes were writing these inscriptions on bamboo, strips of bamboo, those writings didn't survive. So what did survive were the inscriptions on bronze artifacts and oracle bones. So again, like these fragments of animal bones and tortoise shells. So again, oracles are used to foretell the future. Examples of questions to the oracle: I might go and ask the king, or I might go and ask the oracle, is the king's child going to be a boy? Or if the king sends an army to attack the enemy, will the gods help him? Will the deities step in? So the earliest form of writing, Chinese writing, is known as the pictograph. And these pictographs are notated on oracle bones. Again, most of the information we have about the Shang dynasty comes from those inscriptions on oracle bones. Oftentimes, the pictographs were written on oracle bones to, again, like we said, notate what the prophecy was. Pictographic writing. Shang form of writing is the pictograph. It was probably used before the Shang came to rule, but the Shang writing can still be deciphered today because it represents an early modern form of Chinese. Pictographs are characters that depict an object or an idea. So there's a character for tree there that originated in the drawing of a tree. It's a pictograph. It looks like a little picture almost. Pictographs are for written language only. And since the pictographs are written, they're not pronounced phonetically. So they can easily be adapted to different dialects of a similar language. So the writing system of China, because of that, because it's not pronounced phonetically, it's for written language only, the writing system of China has endured. So people who speak Mandarin and people who speak Cantonese can read and understand the same text, whereas people of Mesopotamia with cuneiform and people of Egypt with hieroglyphics had their texts replaced by a simpler alphabet. The transference of the written language gives the Shang dynasty power. Because of the pictographic written language, it could easily be adapted, and as a result, over time, conformity develops. Conformity is also going to be associated with unity. So even when we have these diverse cultures, even when we have technological advances, you're still going to have some measure of unity in early China. That pictographic form of writing of early China is later going to serve as the foundation for other written languages in East Asia, like Korean, like Japanese. Anya asayo. Hello, how are you? Chugale? Do you know what chugale means? Chugale means, do you want to die? Clearly, I watch a lot of K-drama, Korean dramas, and chugale is like one of their aish and chugale. Chugale? Chugale? It's like one of their favorite things. And it's one of mine too. I find a way to work it into daily life on a regular basis. I won't tell you the other words that I know. All right, lovies. So this is the conclusion of this micro lecture. I guess I could do Zhou literature real quick. You want to do that? Yeah, let's do that. Let's do it. And then I'll do like the Chu and the Central Asian nomads in your final lecture for this chapter. So Zhou literature, you've got the Book of Changes, which is an instructional guide for seers. A seer, S-E-E-R-S, a seer is like a prophet. If you ever watched, what was that? It was a show with like Charmed. There was a seer on Charmed. Yeah, that means they see the future too. They're like a prophet. So they're kind of like the oracles. They also have a book of history, which is justifying the Zhou government or the Zhou state, and the book of songs. I need you to know the book of songs. The book of songs represents the first collection of poetry. It's considered the first collection of poetry. It's associated with the Zhou dynasty, and it's a collection of poetry. And remember, we've already said this, not a lot of Zhou literature is going to survive because of the Warring States era, because a lot of those manuscripts are destroyed because during the Warring States era, different schools of thought were seen as a threat. So different ways of thinking, freedom was all destroyed in an effort to destroy the idea of free thinking. So books were destroyed. Books represent freedom. Books represent joy and happiness and non-conformity in a lot of cases, because reading is like expansion. Even today, right? You can read a book and expand your mind. But if I want to destroy that idea of freedom and it creates some form of stability, because remember, Warring States era was associated with chaos and instability. So if I want to restore order, I'm going to do so by destroying knowledge, because I need us all to think alike. When we think alike, there's no threat, because it's mind control. All right, lovies, that's the conclusion of this micro lecture. I will see you soon again when we'll talk about the nomadic people from the steppes of Central Asia and the Chu dynasty. See you soon again. Bye.